And we start the hour in South Africa and a major challenge tonight for the President Jacob Zuma. The country's highest court has ruled that he violated the constitution. That stems from the so-called Nkandla scandal. President Zuma says he respects the constitutional court's ruling and that he is considering his next step. CCTV's Yolisa Njamela filed this report.
President Jacob Zuma wasn't in court, but millions were watching as the ruling was broadcast live.
The president thus failed to uphold, defend, and respect the Constitution as the supreme law of the land.
It's the latest twist in a tale that stretches back several years about the $15 million or so spent upgrading Zuma's private residence, Nkandla. South Africa's public watchdog had investigated and ruled Zuma should repay some of the money. But he ignored its instructions, and the court has found in doing so, Zuma violated the constitution.
Institution of the public protector is pivotal to the facilitation of good governance in our constitutional dispensation.
The court has also ordered Zuma to repay some of the money. In a statement, the presidency says Jacob Zuma will, quote, reflect on the judgment and its implications on the state and government, and will, in consultation with other impacted institutions of state, determine the appropriate action. The public protector says the ruling is a vindication.
This is a great day for the public protector as an institution, but it is a great day for South Africa because what we are seeing, this has not been about personalities. It has been about the principles of accountability, about the rule of law.
The chief opposition party brought the application to the Constitutional Court. It is now seeking Zuma's removal.
We've already filed a motion with the speakers to say Zuma must be impeached because he's unfit, and it's quite clear that the constitutional judgment really vindicates our position.
Impeachment would require a two-thirds majority in a parliament dominated by Zuma's party, the ANC.
The officials will, of course, meet urgently to look into the implication of the judgment, and will take it from there.
The ANC says it has always maintained that it will abide by the judgment and that it will treat the matter with the urgency that it deserves. Yolisa Njamela, CCTV, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Meanwhile, we are receiving reports that the top 6 leaders of South Africa's ruling ANC have been meeting at the party headquarters. They have been discussing the outcomes and the implications of that constitutional court ruling. Those meeting include the Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Speaker of Parliament Baleka Mbete, and the ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe. We'll of course bring you the outcomes of that meeting as we receive those reports. But for now, let's get you more perspective on that ruling. And I'm joined live from our Johannesburg studios by Professor David Bilchitz. He's the director of the South African Institute for Advanced Constitutional Law. Professor, welcome to Africa Live. Just how significant was today's ruling at the Constitutional Court?
Good evening to you and your viewers. This is a majorly important and significant day for South African democracy. It bolsters really the crucial independent institution, the public protector. It ensures that the institution itself, and it recognizes that the institution has a right to make binding orders, and that the only way to get around those binding orders is to approach a court. It also importantly stresses the important functions of the other branches of government, the executive, the president. The judgment ringingly speaks about the role of the president, as well as the role of the National Assembly, which must exercise oversight over the executive. And as a result, it really strengthens all the institutions in the country, including the judiciary. And it's fascinating that the Constitutional Court has been seen by all parties in this case as to be the independent, impartial arbiter. And this bodes well for the future of South African democracy.
It has certainly captured the imagination of the public there in South Africa. And President Zuma himself now says he's considering his opinions. Now, could you tell us what those opinions are likely to be, what the opinions are?
Well, at the moment, the issue has actually been determined. The court has now ruled, it's made a finding that there was unconstitutional behavior on the part of the president, although it did not find that he acted in bad faith. and similarly on the part of the National Assembly. And it has ordered a number of things. There must be within 60 days a report from National Treasury, which has to come back to the court ordering, providing a quantification of the amount of money that must be repaid for the non-security upgrades to the President's homestead in Nkandla. And thereafter, the President will have 45 days within which to pay the money. And the President also is required to rebuke the cabinet ministers who acted in ways which the Public Protector found were in contravention with the South African law and codes that they were bound by.
Well, in terms of what you've just mentioned, that the President probably has a 45-day window, do talk us through a little bit more in clarity, though. Do talk us through the process from here on out.
Well, it's an extraordinary thing that the court has done. In fact, it's supervising the implementation of this order. What it's doing is it's saying we're giving National Treasury a time to quantify the amount, and then the President must himself pay that amount. And essentially the court is also, I think, very strongly bolstering the Public Protector, what the Public Protector has found, and hopefully in the future, in future processes, we will find that the Parliament and the National Executive will take what is being said by the Public Protector much more seriously, because often it has tended to kind of ignore it and suggest, well, they just are findings that they don't need to take very seriously. And the court has bolstered that and said, essentially, these findings have to be taken, they are binding, and in future, if the Public Protector makes a finding from this point on, all other branches of government will have to comply unless they challenge it in court and they have a good reason to do so.
All right, Professor David Bilchitz joining us there from Johannesburg. Thank you.